Let's talk about true transformation. The kind that happens when you stop obsessing over diets and you start embodying the energy of the woman you want to be. Because the truth is, when you shift your mindset, you shift the weight. The skinny lifestyle isn't about restriction, it's about alignment, intention, and power. Here's how we do it. Now, as always, I'm going to put a disclaimer here. I am not a dietitian. I am not a doctor. I am someone who is on the internet giving you tips. I'm giving you my own personal experience. I'm telling you what I have learned, what has worked incredibly for me. But no, you don't have to go away and do this yourself. You're an educated person. I just want to say that first before I start. Make that really, really clear. And I am going to be talking about this through the lens of someone who wants to be fit, healthy, someone who wants to look and feel their best. I am not going down the route of, I'm not even going to address any type of controversial things. I'm not going to go into all of that. So if you are somebody who maybe is struggling, who is working through an eating disorder of any kind, I would actually ask you to go and seek some help or work on yourself in that way first. Work out these things so that you can come back with a healthy mindset, be your best self. Because if you're already struggling with that kind of mindset, these tips are not going to help you. These tips are for the person who is ready to shift the excess fat that you've been holding on to. And I'm not talking about muscle, because I could say weight loss. But if you're one of these people, if you've been noticing, and I'm going to digress a little bit here, if you've been noticing in the media all the huge fuss about Ozempic and other GLP-1s, if you actually look into what's happening, people are losing weight. They're losing fat, but they're losing a lot of muscle too. We don't want that. Our muscle, lean muscle in our body, is going to give us a sculpted, beautiful look. The muscle in your body is going to support your whole body. It's going to support your hormones. It's going to support everything when you do it the right way. So we're not here to get so skinny that we're going to pass out. We're going to get healthy skinny, okay? And I'm going to use that word because I actually think there's nothing wrong with wanting to look very slim. And just have that muscle tone as well. I think there's nothing wrong with it, and I think it's absolutely criminal that we are not allowed to aspire to look like however we want. So anyway, that aside, I want to get started. So here's how I do it, and here is how I have made the hugest, biggest ever shifts in my life. I remember I have always been on a diet since the age of probably about 16, and I could even say 14 to be honest. I had lost a lot of weight just through really being careful and conscious about what I ate. I was never ever overweight, but I just have always wanted to have that really lean look, that really beautiful, elegant, sculpted look. That's what, in my opinion, looks beautiful, okay? We all have different body shapes and sizes that we aspire to and we think are beautiful. But if you're like me and you think and you feel like you're at your best and you just, that vision of you and your higher self is thin, she's slim, she's sculpted, she's beautiful, she's shapely, then this is what's worked for me, and this is where I've made the biggest leaps ever. So number one, I'm starting with meal prep is self-respect. When you prepare high protein meals in advance, and that's the key, high protein, and also one other key, high protein, as processed as how do I say, as lightly processed as possible. I can't think of the phrase right now, I'm very tired this morning. If you try and make sure you're sticking to everything that is in its most natural form, you are going to see huge results, and you will see them consistently, you will see them fast. When you prioritize your energy, your focus on your high protein meals, which are really full of essentially proteins like eggs, like fish, like chicken. If you're a vegan, this video is not for you. Okay, I was vegan for a long time. I'm not going to put my opinion, but I really suffered, my health suffered over the long term, and I was doing whatever I could to get in the most healthy, natural forms of protein. I've just found that my body was calling me, saying you need to eat more animal products and more proteins in that way. And the minute I did that, my skin cleared up. I felt more energized. I have an O blood type, and if you are educated in terms of various nutritional, let's just say, theories, if you look into the blood group theory, people with my blood type do better on high protein diets, okay? And I find that to work really well for me. But when you prioritize you getting the biggest amount of the optimum amount of protein for your body, and the rest of that, you'll find that if you're sticking within your calorie count, you're sticking within a good either maintenance if you're looking to stay slim and beautiful, and like if you're maintenance, if you're sticking to your protein goals, you'll find that you don't have that much left over to spend on rubbish, essentially. And what I mean by rubbish is things that are processed carbohydrates. So anything that is not in its natural form, I don't believe is the best for your body. And that's it. I said it, things in their natural form are their best for you. All of these things added to these processed foods and meals, like the essentially chemicals, they interfere with your body's natural rhythm. They interfere with the way that your body is able to process foods. And also these refined carbohydrates, they just sit in your gut. They are very hard for your body to digest, and they slow down the body in terms of the energy that it's able to leave behind to let you expend that on the amazing things you're doing in your life. So meal prepping isn't about being perfect. It's about having nourishing, satisfying options, and they're ready, so that you're not just reaching for whatever's quickest, and then you're filling yourself with regret after that. If you want to be slim, skinny, you want to have that that physique, you need to set yourself up accordingly. You need to find yourself some meals that work really, really well for you, that you can just go to on a daily or a weekly basis. If you're really struggling, because I know this can be overwhelming, one of the first things I ever did was I just made a meal plan. Now you can do this for just 7 days. Plan yourself some healthy evening meals. And then once you've done that, think to yourself, well, what can I do for my lunch that's going to be quick, easy and healthy? I eat practically the same type of lunch every day. So I'll have about 30 grams of salad. I will have lettuce, whatever, and then I'll add other salad pieces to that. So maybe peppers, tomatoes, olives. I have roughly, probably most days, about 75 grams of avocado. For the healthy fats and lots of fibre as well. I have I can tell you off the top of my head, but it was overwhelming at first, but I know this because I know what I used my fitness pal to educate myself on what I was eating, how I could make the macronutrient content fit my calorie count, and so it's really helped me massively. But I find this works best for me. And along with that, I will have I try and have about 50 grams of protein in that meal as well, because I do have 2 meals a day, and I try and get 100 grams of protein in the whole day. So it's very important to meal prep. And in addition to that, I will have some meats of some kind. Usually it's chicken, usually it's turkey, something like that, tuna maybe. but I'll also have 2 eggs alongside that as well, because it's so good. Eggs are incredible for your hair, your skin, your nails. It's just, they are very, very good, very clean source of protein, very good for your body. So that's what I do. I don't just have the egg whites, I actually have the yolks too. So don't let people scare you about the whole fats thing. The whole, oh, fats are bad for you, is something that this is something that was brought in with all the marketing of these low fat products, like the low fat yogurts, the low fat cereals, all this stuff that's absolutely rubbish for you. Let's be honest, highly sugared, highly processed, highly rubbish for your body. And it was just a marketing thing. If you look into everything, oh, fat's bad for you. No, your body really needs healthy fats to actually burn other types of fuel optimally in your body. So that's the first thing, is your meal prep. And I just meal prep, and I have my lunch ready. It's in the fridge. I know exactly what I'm going to eat every day. I know exactly what I'm having for my lunch, for my evening meal. It's not about being perfect, but it's about being prepped, so you can just grab it and go, you're done. And another thing that I do, I have for my lunch every day, I have a big lunch and I have a big dinner. I have soup every single day, homemade soup. So at the start of the week or whatever, I will make a huge pot of soup and I separate it out into 9 batches. I freeze a couple of these batches, and I've weighed it all out in my fitness pal, and I did that, so I know exactly how many calories. I know exactly that I'm getting all of this fibre. I know everything, all the details, but it's all sitting there and ready, and I've got 9 portions of that for me and my little one. When it comes to having our lunch every day, it's ready, it's there, it's nutritious, no added nasties to that. So if you want to respect your body, a very healthy body visually, and I am talking about aesthetics here, if you look at someone's body, you can tell generally if they are fit and healthy. You can see with your own eyes, and we can see with our own eyes, do we look fit, do we look healthy? I am at a point in my life where I've hit all my goals in terms of aesthetic, well, not perfect in terms of aesthetics, but in terms of weight goals, in terms of, I've had 2 kids. Let me tell you, when you have children, your body changes entirely. It takes a lot of personal power to drop the weight. It's so hard when you are tired, you're hungry, you are exhausted, and it's so hard for you to make these nutritious meals at the very beginning. So you can, if you're not careful, it's easy to hang on to this and develop poor eating habits and nourishment habits. But if you really want to, and if you really start to focus in small ways, even just prepping 1 meal a day, you can absolutely get there. And I'm proof of that. I was able to do that. It was not easy for me. It's very challenging, but I was able to do it, get back to my goal weight. Now I have new goals. Now I'm all about sculpting, refining. Now it's about, well, I'm at my perfect weight. I have a figure which I'm really happy with. So now I just can refine and work on that more of like a personal project that keeps me going. It's like that journey. I like that journey. I like to be refining, polishing, tweaking. But this is what's worked best for me. Now, when you do this sustainably, you will find that you'll achieve your goals so much quicker. Now, I want to tell you another secret for me that's worked so well. Now, I've tried everything. I've tried going back on like a high protein breakfast with some fibre for breakfast. It was great, okay, I quite enjoyed it, it was fine, but I found that breaking my fast a little later, it's always going to work best for me. That's just the way my body likes to be. My body can handle being hungry in the morning, and my body likes it when I give it way more time to clear out any garbage that may be hanging around in my body. That's what I see breaking your fast a little later as. It's called intermittent fasting, and it can work wonders, but you've really got to make it your own. You've got to make it work for you, or it will just seem like torture. So try this. Obviously don't try anything I say, but If you feel like it, if you're called to do it, then you might want to push breakfast back by just an hour or two. And when I say breakfast, well, what's the word breakfast? Break fast. It's about breaking your fast. You don't have to break your fast at 7 a.m. just because everyone else does. I break my fast at 11:30 every day, without fail. And I have my lunch then. And that's, well, I call it my lunch, but it's really my breakfast. And what do? I have the healthy, nutritious meal that I just told you about. So that's what I do every day. And I have noticed so many benefits of that. Yeah, I will be hungry the first few days if I'm going back on that routine. I will feel a bit grouchy. I will have to make sure that I've got more things booked in so that I don't have time to sit and think about it. But your body responds totally differently when you give it a chance to rest and reset, and when you give it a chance to clear up all that stuff that's hanging around in your digestive system. So I have experienced way more mental clarity, better hunger signals, by the way, and that's a big one for me because I was taught you have to finish everything that's on your plate. So that made me eat bigger portions than I really shouldn't have been. And that's why my weight was always a bit of a struggle. I didn't put the two and two together for a long, long time until I heard about portion control, and I'm like, what? And then I'm like, oh, okay, so you want to eat big meals because you were taught you have to eat whatever's on your plate. And I get it, your parents want to nourish you, they want, to make sure that you're healthy. However, it's important that we are not ignoring our body's cues to say that when it's had enough. So less snacking as well, that's another huge thing. Like if I have a big lunch and then I'm having, a good substantial evening meal, I don't really want to snack because I'm full. And if I do want to snack, that's an emotional eating thing. That's not to do with the fact that I'm hungry. So this is being intentional. So I would suggest giving that a try if you're struggling and obviously you don't have any other underlying health conditions. Just look into it and see if it's something that could potentially work with you. So the last thing I want to share with you is something that really works for me when I want to be a bit naughty. And I'm not talking about one-off. I'm talking about if you ever feel like you could easily get into the habit of something. So if you're getting into the habit of having a few biscuits with, a cup of tea before bedtime, or maybe after your lunch break or something like that, and you are conscious that these habits could creep in, I would suggest you ask yourself this question. It sounds really simple, but this one question changes everything. So you just ask yourself, do you want to be skinny or do you want the biscuit? That's it. That's what you have to ask yourself. Because you can absolutely have the biscuit sometimes, but not every day, and still expect results. The thing is, your daily micro habits are either building your future beautiful, lean, perfect self, or they're just keeping you stuck in the body that you feel like you don't want to actually be in. So be honest with yourself, because your future self, your higher self, she deserves that, and she's just waiting for you to say, actually, no, I don't need that. I'll have a herbal tea instead. I'll have some sparkling water instead. I'll have some chewing gum instead. I'll clean my teeth instead. Because that works, by the way. The Skinni Lifestyle, it's not about how you look. It's about how you feel. It's about how you show up. And it's about how much power you hold in your choices. It's not about being horrible to yourself. It's not about hating yourself. What's it about? It's about honouring your true self. And sometimes, you're going to pay either way. You're going to pay because you're absolutely having to have a little bit more discipline with yourself now. But if you can visualize that future self, it's going to become easier and easier. And you're going to form that new pathway in your brain that says, oh yeah, we don't really need to snack anymore. It'll just become a new habit for you. Okay, it's hard at first, but you can do it. So it's about how you show up. It's about how much power you hold in your choices. And I want to know that you don't need another diet. You just need to activate the version of you who already knows what it takes and lives it. So if you are done with the quick fixes, if you're ready to fully embody that woman that you were born to be, confident, radiant, disciplined, and in love with her life and herself, then the spark activation is for you. It is something that I created. It is not just a mindset shift, it is your full energetic upgrade. And the spark activation is going to be something where I'll walk you through exactly what's been holding you back and help you to unlock the habits, the power, the confidence of your higher self without even having to jump on a coaching call. So you can grab yours now via the link in the description, or just type spark and I'll send you the link below. But have an amazing day, beautiful. You owe it to yourself to be, to look, to feel like your highest self. Make sure you've liked, subscribed, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one on Spark Activation. Have an amazing day. I love you.